Art materials that I use on a daily basis for realistic watercolor painting. I will show you each piece, why I use it, how I come to that conclusion to use that particular art material, and explain some tips behind those materials. If you look around my studio, you will notice it is not stacked with art materials. I think I have books more than art materials, and I don't have too much, I don't have too little, just enough to get myself going with daily practice, to create, to keep inspired, but not overwhelm myself with too much of selection of pigments, brushes, paper, sketchbooks. I think if you have too much, that can overwhelm you, but we are different, of course. But having like 1 to 2 pencils, 1 brush, it can also be a little bit boring. So having that golden middle part comes with experience, comes with time. It's not something that you will get straight away. Oh, I know I need that exact brush, those exact pigments. It comes with time. Give yourself that time and experience to come to conclusion what you really need. First, I will start with my brush case. It is a full brush case. I take it everywhere. I think I'm using this brush case for 3 years, and it is full. I have my palette, ceramic palette inside as well. Watercolors. I am using professional watercolor pigments from different brands: Winsor & Newton, 𝗝𝗎𝗂, Sennelier. Big brush to remove eraser dust, graphite dust. This is envelope knife or paper knife to open paper pad sealed paper. I will show you that later. Elastic eraser to remove excess amount of graphite. And these Faber-Castell elastic erasers are the best. They are, for example, this one I think I have for like 6 months already, but even if it gets dirty, you just squeeze and stretch like this, and it like self-cleans itself. This is that I remove excess amount of graphite. Dust-free eraser, also from Faber-Castell, a little bit used one. Pencil sharpener. Washi tape that is also used for painting, little paper notes. And then I have here pencils. Graphite pencils of different 2B, 3H. I think I also have 3B. Then HB. Mechanical pencils. I have 0.3 for detailed outline transferring. 0.9, which is thicker. That is used for transferring initial outline. Ink marker, 0.2 for making color notes, painting notes. Pencil eraser. That's just a regular, you can get it, I think, everywhere. It is great for details, for if you need to something really small to erase, like lines or little details, this is perfect. Different brushes. Eradicator brush, perfect for little mistakes, or you need to remove already on painted surface spots or little tiny lines. Fine tip brush, I have ready a new one because this is used for several months and it wears out, so I am preparing a new one. Round synthetic brush, flat brush, another fine tip brush. This is for graphite work to slightly smooth and blend graphites. This 3B pencil I am using for transferring outline. It's already requires sharpening. So I sharpen my pencils with this kind of knife. I'm making a longer graphite part. And when I need to transfer, for example, I have my tracing paper with pitcher plant ready outline. On the other side, I will apply graphite with 3B, which is soft graphite. Place it on paper, 0.9. I will show you. So I turn around, apply graphite using soft graphite pencil because then the graphite is easier to apply and easier to transfer your outline. Even layer of graphite, turn it around to the right side, and with graphite pencil 0.9 I go over the outline, and on the other side line appears, and after I would transfer everything, outline everything, I would go with 0.3 and outline it again. After that, I'm taking elastic eraser, and only I outlined the second time. I am rolling over my elastic eraser, removing excess amount of graphite, leaving only fine line visible. It will not smudge. It will stay clean. It will not smudge. It will stay clean and ready for painting. This is my way of transferring outline. I know you will say, but there are easier ways, like that table lamp where you can shine through the layers and outline, transfer the outline. Well, I like my approach of outlining how many times I go first. I do the outline from the reference photo, then I outline on tracing paper, and then I outline for the third time on paper. While I'm doing these 3 times, repeating the same process, I am getting to know the subject, because there's, especially with the more complex subjects that you are planning to paint, there are so many details that we don't see straight away. And by trying to make the first preparation process faster, you are losing somewhere attention, observations, possibilities to observe more closer. And then when you are painting, you are getting surprised. Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, it's that. And sometimes it can get frustrating. But in the preparation stage, I always encourage my students, don't rush. The more you get to know your subject, the better it will be during painting process. Don't skip preparation stage just to make it faster. My recommendation, better to spend more time preparing. It will benefit in the painting process. Another tool that I use for watercolors is clean spray bottle with clean water inside. Before starting to paint, watercolors are dry, and to make it easier for brushes, spraying little amount of water and my watercolors are alive evenly, then it's more better for your brushes and you get your pigments faster rather than watering them during mixing process. Ceramic palettes. I have many ceramic palettes. They are from different projects that I am working at the moment, or maybe stopped working, but still pigments can be used. For my tutorials, I always have clean palettes so that students can see the mixes more correctly. But if I'm painting for myself, then these pigments can be used. Definitely a lot is here and can be used more. And I'm using ceramic palettes. Only exception is when I go outside and I have and I'm planning to make little color study pages, then I have this very small plastic palette. It fits perfectly in my watercolor set and also can be quickly attached to my sketchbook. For example, like this. And I can work more freely. I have my mini palette, watercolors, paper, and I can work even on a smaller area. Maybe I also tried this on airplane or in the car, in a hotel room, outside. You need to have so little, but you can still do your study pages. About watercolors. As I mentioned, I'm using professional pigments. When I was just starting, this was my painting box. So many pigments from so many brands. It was a nice play with so many pigments, but it wasn't helping. I was only confused with each new project, which pigments to take. All those, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green color tones, color pigments, which one to take, which one to use, which one to mix. And it made my paintings only look chaotic. After learning from my art teachers, looking how they mix, experimenting with pigments, I came to conclusion the less is better. Now I am really aware of what I can do with my pigments. It's super rarely that I take some extra pigment. Mostly these are in 95% of time I'm using these 14 pigments, and they came to me through my art teachers, through experimenting, practice. Now my paintings look more harmonious because they're pigments that I can get a lot of color mixes, but still those pigments are not so many, not huge variety of pigments. The lesser, the better. And professional pigments, because they're rich in pigment, you don't need to have a lot. For example, from this small set, I can paint from 40 to 50, A5 to A4 size of painting. And I experimented, of course, if all 40 will be in red color, no, I can't do that. But in different colors, from this small set, I can paint huge amount of paintings. So this one little set is enough for a long time, and also very easy to carry around, to paint everywhere. I have tried painting almost everywhere, maybe not in space, definitely not in space, but in the air, right beside water, in hotel room, at home, in botanical gardens, in mountains. So yeah, you can take it everywhere. You can even create from your own favorite pigments a smaller set to carry around. Very useful. As we are talking about pigments, these are color swatches. I don't use them anymore, but in the beginning they were my daily companion. I painted out watercolor mix that I mixed, wrote down pigment name and brand from which it was, and after I had a new subject, I would take my color swatches, place side by side with the subject, and I will see which pigments I need to create this mix. And these color swatches are easy to be made by yourself. I also have them in my shop, but you can easily make them, and I have a video where I am showing you how to make them. I have them in red color tones, all the green ones, and violets with pinks. So this was something I had on a daily basis when I was just starting. 2 cups. You can have glasses, but my recommendation, don't use big jars. Then from my practice, noticed that you will tend to get too much water, and that is a problem of water control, but you have too much water in your painting. Smaller jars, I noticed, are better. Why 2? One is for clean water, where to apply clean water layers. Second one is for washing brush after mixing watercolors. Always have 2 with me. And these ones are from yogurt. And I tend to take them when I travel, when I don't have a lot of space. So then I take even smaller. Ruler, that is for measuring composition. Scissors for cutting paper. Masking fluid from Winsor & Newton. I use it very rarely, but still there are times when I need it. But if you get new masking fluid, always, this is super important, test it before painting. Test on the same piece of paper, see how it works, and then apply to your painting. There are important things to remember. Don't add masking fluid on a wet paper. Don't remove masking fluid while the paper is still wet. Then you will tear your paper. Bleed-proof white. I have it for 3 years and I used it so little, only those little gaps there. That is for maybe little lanterns, maybe dots or super tiny stamens. Use it, have it. Big brush. For example, you left overnight your painting and it covers with dust. I wipe it to have it dust free. Magic sponge. It is sold in hardware shops to remove little accidents, maybe water drops or watercolor mix splashes on your painting around composition. Then slightly mist with clean water, and then very lightly you can remove watercolor spots on your paper. This is very handy. Tracing paper. That is transparent paper where I put my outlines from reference photo. It can also be printed on and then transferred to your original paper. Mostly I use hot pressed paper, 300 GSM at least. I did here watercolor mixing tests, but hot pressed paper is a smooth one. There's no any texture on paper, on hot pressed paper. Sketchbook for studies, for smaller painting sessions. Also 300 GSM hot pressed paper. Perfect for ink, for graphite, for watercolors, for gouache. This is something that I use on a daily basis. Watercolor mixing notebook that I also use quite a lot for watercolor mixing before bigger projects. Here I had a live workshop of a bigger rose. Before doing this live workshop, first I tested watercolor mixes, search for the pigments that I will be using, and later this was a reference to paint this one. Last one, I was in Crocus Garden where I did quick color studies. With these color studies, I am not aiming for perfect result, as you can see here, just to get my notes on mixing which pigments I will be using. Then I'm using sketchbooks with 200 GSM, and they are with more rougher surface of paper. This is a great sketchbook. If you are used to cold press, use cold press. If you are used to hot press, use hot press. It's up to you and your style. But having different kind of sketchbooks, I find it very practical and useful. For my bigger paintings, I am using Saunders and Waterford 640 GSM hot pressed paper. It's a very thick paper. Why I use it? Because I just like the feeling that I'm holding not a plain paper, but something thicker. Holds lots of layers. But also 300 GSM paper holds a lot of layers. It only depends if you let paper to dry between layers, then even 300 or 200 GSM paper can receive tens and tens of layers. Art portfolio for storing artworks. Especially as I'm going to art workshops where I'm showcasing my artwork to people, paper is very observant for any dust. So if you want to touch and give somebody else to touch your painting better through plastic cover, then you know that your paper will stay clean. This is something that I use in my workshops or even when guests come to my house to showcase my work. If you don't have art folder, my recommendation on how to store your artwork is bare minimum, hold it horizontal, laying flat. This is the best way, and behind in the shelf or behind closed doors, so no dust, nothing comes on your painting. I have my work here stacked. Some are in plastic wrap, but majority just laying flat. I have here on my wall, this is not the best way how to store your paintings, but I just like the creative design of this wall. And these are artworks that I will not be selling, so I'm not worried about how this metal clip will affect paper. And also I know that here my paintings are beyond reach for my children. I like the creative design of this wall, but not the best solution. And last but not least, I have a roll of paper towel in my studio. I have paper towel always in my left hand, brush in my right hand, and I always hold it. You can say that it's not environment friendly to use paper towels. Well, I like the fresh feeling of new paper towel before each painting session. I know that cotton fabric can also be used, or old shirt or old shirt from your husband. If you like it, use it. That's amazing. I like to use paper towels. I like the feeling of it. I like to take a fresh paper towel before session and throw out when I finish painting. It's like those little things that create this kind of sequence for your process. Well, I don't use them a lot, but I love them. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it helpful, useful. Maybe you got inspired. Maybe you will get rid of something. Definitely don't rush to the shop just to buy new art materials because I have them. Use what you have. Use them well. Get to know them well, especially pigments, brushes, paper surfaces. Experiment until you find what you need, what suits best for your style, your approach. Thank you for watching. Comment under this video. Give me suggestions for your issues that you would like to see maybe in my videos, or questions if you have. I love to get to answer to them and see your comments. Thank you, and see you in my next videos. Bye bye.